3 years ago, I froze, completely froze, in front of a barista over a cup of coffee. And that one moment, honestly, it changed the way I think about speaking English forever.
Wait, hold on. You froze? Over coffee?
I'm serious. And by the end of this episode, you're going to understand exactly why that happened, and more importantly, what to do so it never happens to you.
Okay, now I need to hear this story. But before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome to Audiolingo English.
I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex, and every week we sit down just like this, two friends, one mic, and we talk about real English, the way people actually speak it.
So if you've ever felt like you know English, but you can't speak it, this episode is for you. Hit that subscribe button now, because trust me, you do not want to miss where this story goes.
All right, Emma, take us back. Coffee shop. What happened?
So, picture this. I had just moved to a new city. I had studied English for, 12 years at that point?
12 years.
12 years. Grammar, a vocabulary, reading, writing. I could basically write an essay in my sleep.
Okay, so confident.
Super confident. I walk into this little coffee shop and I'm standing in line, and in my head, I'm already preparing my sentence. Hi, could I please get a medium cappuccino with oat milk? Perfect sentence, right? Grammatically flawless.
Sounds great to me.
It gets to my turn. The barista looks at me and says, "Hey, what can I get started for you?"
Okay, normal question.
Totally normal. But my brain just stopped.
What do you mean stopped?
Like completely blank. I had this perfect sentence ready, but "what can I get started for you" wasn't the question I had practiced for. So my brain just short-circuited. And what came out of my mouth was
Oh, no.
a yes coffee.
Yes, coffee.
Yes coffee. That's it. Like a caveman.
I mean, at least he got the message.
He laughed, but not in a mean way. He just smiled and said, "Big day, huh?" And I just nodded and walked away with my coffee, completely embarrassed.
Okay, but here's the thing, Emma. That happens to so many learners. I mean, it happened to me, too.
Wait, really? You?
Oh, 100%. I remember calling a friend's mom on the phone once, and she asked, "How's your family doing?" And in my head, I knew exactly how to answer that. But something about hearing it on the phone, no face, no context, I just said, good, thank you, bye," and hung up.
You hung up?
I panicked. I just hung up the phone.
Okay, that's worse than mine.
It's a low bar, but I'll take the win.
But honestly, this is the real problem, isn't it? So many people study grammar, vocabulary, all of that for years. And then the moment real life happens, a real question, a real person, a little bit of pressure, everything disappears.
Right. And here's what's wild. It's not because you don't know English. It's because your brain is doing this exhausting thing in the background, translating.
Exactly.
You hear something in English, your brain quickly translates it into your first language, you think of the answer in your first language, and then you translate that answer back into English. All of that in like 2 seconds while a real person is staring at you waiting.
No wonder we freeze.
It's like trying to have a conversation while also solving a math problem in your head.
Okay, so that's the problem. But you said something earlier that this coffee shop moment changed everything for you. So what happened next?
Yeah, tell us, what did you do after the yes coffee disaster?
So for like a week, I kind of avoided talking to people. I just point at menus, use my phone, anything to avoid talking. But then something funny happened.
Okay.
I went back to that same coffee shop a few days later, same barista, and he says, "Hey, coffee guy is back."
Coffee guy?
Coffee guy, that's what he called me. And in that moment, instead of panicking, I just laughed and said, "Yeah, coffee guy's back. Same as last time, please."
Wait, that's actually really good.
It wasn't perfect grammar, it wasn't a fancy sentence, but it was real, it was natural. And he laughed, and we actually had this little back and forth conversation about my accent, where it was from. It was the longest conversation I'd had in English since I arrived.
So what changed?
I stopped trying to be perfect. I just responded, like a human, not like a textbook.
Okay, but here's where it gets interesting, because this connects to something we talk about all the time. Fluency is not the same as accuracy.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Fluency is not the same as accuracy. You can be completely accurate, perfect grammar, perfect vocabulary, and still not be fluent, because fluency is about flow. It's about speed, rhythm, not stopping every 2 seconds to fix a mistake in your head.
And accuracy is about correctness, getting the grammar right, the right word, the right tense.
And here's the twist most learners don't expect. If you focus only on accuracy, you actually slow down your fluency.
Wait, really?
Think about it. If every time you speak, you're stopping to ask, wait, is this the right tense? Should I say have gone or went? You're constantly interrupting your own flow. Your brain is so busy checking for mistakes that it forgets to just talk.
That's exactly what happened with me with yes, coffee. I was so busy trying to build the perfect sentence that when the question changed slightly, my whole system crashed.
Right. So what's the fix? Because I know people are listening right now thinking, okay, that's me. That's exactly me. So what do I do?
Okay, so here's what actually worked for me. And honestly, this is backed by a lot of language learning research too. The first thing is something called shadowing.
Tell us about shadowing.
So, shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker, a podcast, a show, anything, and you repeat what they say almost at the same time they're saying it. Not after, at the same time, like their shadow.
So you're literally copying their rhythm, their pauses, their tone.
Exactly. And what this does is it trains your mouth and your brain to produce English sounds and rhythms automatically without translating first.
That's huge because translation is the bottleneck, right?
It's the bottleneck. So if you remove that step completely, your brain doesn't have time to translate. It just produces the language.
Okay, what's the second thing?
The second thing is something I call answer first, fix later.
I like that already.
So when someone asks you a question, your only job in that moment is to respond. Doesn't matter if it's perfect, doesn't matter if you use the wrong tense, just respond. You can fix small mistakes later in your head after the conversation, but in the moment, just keep the conversation moving.
Because a slightly wrong sentence that keeps the conversation flowing is so much better than a perfect sentence that never gets said.
Exactly. Yes, coffee wasn't grammatically beautiful, but it kept things moving. And honestly, looking back, that was actually progress. I just didn't see it that way at the time.
Okay, and what's the third thing? Because I feel like there's one more piece to this.
The third thing is finding your coffee guy.
Meaning?
Meaning, find one person, one place, one situation where you talk in English regularly, even if it's small. A barista, a classmate, an online language partner, even talking to yourself in the mirror counts.
Wait, talking to yourself counts?
100%. Because what matters is repetition without pressure. The first time I talked to that barista, I was terrified. By the fifth time, it was just normal. My brain stopped treating English conversation like an emergency.
That's such a good point because fluency isn't built in one big moment. It's built in 100 small low-pressure moments.
Exactly. And here's the part that still gets me. Years later, I went back to that same coffee shop just to visit.
And the barista was still there. No way.
And he looked at me and said, "Coffee guy, your English got so good."
Ah, that's actually really sweet.
It hit me so hard because he wasn't just talking about my grammar getting better. He was talking about how I sounded more relaxed, more natural, more me.
That's the real goal, isn't it? Not sounding like a textbook, sounding like yourself, just in English.
That's it, exactly.
Okay, so if you're listening right now and you've ever had your own yes coffee moment, we want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments. Seriously, the more embarrassing, the better, because trust me, every single person listening has a story just like that.
And if today's episode helped even a little, share it with a friend who's learning English too. Sometimes just knowing you're not the only one who freezes changes everything.
So, here's your homework before next time. Pick one small moment today. Ordering food, replying to a message, talking to yourself in the mirror, whatever it is, and just respond. Don't aim for perfect, aim for real.
Because fluency isn't about knowing every rule. It's about being brave enough to keep talking even when it's not perfect.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for hanging out with us today on Audiolingo English.
We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep speaking, keep practicing, and hey,
Don't be afraid to be coffee guy.
bye everyone.
Bye.
Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week.
It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday?
Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place.
Right. So let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today.